everybody, this is Bonnie, and I'm going to show you, it's not a finished card yet, but I'm going to show you how I did this with watercolor paper, re-inker, and some water. And don't worry if it doesn't work out the first time. I did this several times, but mine was trial and error, so if you follow what I do, it should probably come out okay. So let's jump right in. First of all, you need a piece of watercolor paper. White is what I'm using. And this piece is 5 by 5 inches by 3 3/4 of an inch. So, and then you're going to need a B block. I'm going to be using a B block. The re-inker colors that I'm using are Pool Party, Seaside Spray, Highland Heather, and Daffodil Delight. The stamp set that I'm using is A Touch of Ink. You can get this for free with a $100 order right now through Celebration, and that is good until February, end of February. You will also need some watercolor pens like this and a spritzer. If you don't have a spritzer, you can get away without doing it with the spritzer with just using these. Something of a towel, an old rag that you don't care about to clean your watercolor pens out with. Lots of paper towels. I like to use a big wad of paper towels. And then you're going to need StazOn ink. Okay, if I forgot anything, I will tell you as we go along. Okay, the first thing we're going to do, I want to make sure I can keep everything in the camera. I have another big block here. You could use a block this size if you want. That's what I did. You know, actually, that's what I did. So let's just do it the right way. I'm going to clean this block off. I'm going to put this one here. All right, I use this block, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my spritzer. And this just has water in it. And you can get, I think it's 2 of these for like $3. And you just take this off, you fill it up with water, and then you put it right back in here. And I'm just going to spritz my block. And I'm getting kind of close because I want the water to stay right on my block. You probably can't see that in the camera, maybe you can, but there's some water right there. So I like to have this on top of this one. That's why I have lots of paper towels, so it don't soak through. Then the first one I'm going to do is the pink one. And I'm going to take Blushing Bride, and I'm going to add like 2 or 3 drops in there. Then I'm going to take this brush, and I'm just going to help it swirl it around. I'm going to squeeze out a little more water, and I'm just getting this very watery. Like that, and I'm getting it a lot of water on it, and it might even need 1 or 2 more drops because you want it to be like very wet. It's okay if it runs off the edge. That's actually kind of good if it does that. That's why I have the tissue underneath. Then we're taking another block, and we're going to take this block and we're going to sit it right on top of here. Just like that. We're going to pick it up, and it's going to try to stick to it. And then we are going to roll this around a little bit. And then we're going to bring it over here, and I'm going to put this one semi in the center, the best that you can. And I'm going to push it down. Just like that. Now, I don't want this a perfect square, because that's not the look I was going for. So I have a little bit over here, too, and I'm just going to kind of mess my square up because I don't want it perfectly. And you gotta want to do this before it dries, because if you don't, it's gonna dry and then it's gonna be dried in. So you want to do this while you can. Okay, so there we go, we got that. And then I'm just gonna leave that like that. Then we're gonna take some more paper towels, so just bring a roll in with you. And I'm going to clean this one off. And then you're going to clean this brush. Now, you could either use my rag over here that you can't see what I'm doing, but I like to use my my old rag, but what I'm doing is I'm cleaning this, I'm squeezing it till all the color, till it comes out clear like that. So there's no blushing bride, no pink, okay? So, and then we got to clean also the other block that we stamped it on. So there, so I cleaned that. And if you get a little splatter or something, that's okay. That's fine too. So now we're going to go to the next one. I'm going to add some more. Got that spritzer facing towards me. Okay, we're going to add some more color, and then I'm going to use the Pool Party. And I'm going to add just a few drops of the Pool Party. And then I am going to squeeze some water down here. Okay, and then I'm going to just push this around. I just felt like sometimes it needs more water. I like the little pooling part of it. Then we're going to take this block again that we cleaned off, and we're going to put it on here. Move it around, and sometimes if it gets too much, you could just tap it on the side of your, but you want a good amount on there. That's what you want, because that's what helps it spread. And then we're just going to sit this one right next to it. You're kind of leaving some white in between. Okay, so I have that. Again, I do not want this to be a perfect square. So, and also it helps you if it didn't fill in someplace, you can fill it in a little bit. And I don't want it a perfect square, so I'm kind of going like this. If you want, because you may, I mean, I've been doing this for a couple hours and doing a bunch of different ones, so my hands are really got some ink on it. You may want to wear some gloves with this. You know, it all depends. Now this one went right to the edge. That's okay. This one didn't, but it all depends on how much liquid you have, but it's still going to come out and look wonderful when you're done. So again, we're going to clean our brush off so that it's coming out clean. That's what I'm doing over here on my yellow towel, old rag or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to flip this one upside down. I'm going to clean it all off. This is where the gloves would come in handy, at least one glove. And then I'm going to clean this block off. Okay. Now I'm going to come in with the Seaside spray. Oops, first I got to spritz it. I almost forgot. If you had forgotten, just squeezed out some water with your with one of these, just with your blender pen, just squeeze it out on it. Because if you, I didn't want you spritzing with the ink on, because it could go everywhere, and then you could have ink on everything. Unless you have like a closed-in area, a little box or something that you can do that in, then you can do that, and you don't even have to worry about it. And then we're just going to move this all around, get lots and lots of ink on here, re-inker, do whatever you got to do there. Yep. And then we're going to take this block and we're going to put it right on top. And now this one looks like it hardly has anything on it because it's so light of a color. And then we're going to bring this right over here and we're going to sit it right down. Now, it may not have enough, and if it doesn't, which I could tell already, see how that isn't filled in? That's okay, because what you're going to do is you're going to come over and you're going to fill it in yourself with your brush, and that's what this brush is really nice for, is to fill this in. Now, I'm no expert at watercoloring. I confess I'm not. I don't do it a lot because I'm learning. I'm not a big watercolorer, but this I think I kind of got. So after several trials and error, believe me. Okay, so now we're going to clean that brush out. You got to make sure it comes out clean. Okay, and we're going to clean off this block. I'm going to put that one there. I'm going to clean off this block. Make sure it's good and clean. I'm going to put that there. We don't need this paper towel, so I'm going to throw that away. And put this back in front of me. Now I already have pink and purple on those blocks from earlier. So now I'm going to put a little bit of my blue, just a tiny drop. and then a little bit of my sea foam spray right there. Okay. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring this down here like this, and I'm going to dry this. You're going to take your heat tool, and you want to make sure this is nice and dry. Okay, so now it's nice and dry. So now I've got my characters here. I got my butterfly, I've got my hummingbird, and I got my flower. So I'm going to take the butterfly, and I'm using Stays On ink. Now remember, if you use Stays On ink, it will stay on your stamps. There is a Stays On ink cleaner that you can use to get them off. But make sure you got your stamp very good and juiced up so it comes out nice and bright and vibrant. Okay, so I'm going to put this on here, and it's okay if it goes over into the other or off the page. It doesn't matter. And then I'm just going to stamp this down. I'm holding it because I want it to absorb into the paper, and it's going on, what do you call it, the watercolor paper. So sometimes it just, you know, takes a little bit more. And Stays On does kind of act sticky. So it comes off kind of like it's sticky. Now I'm going to take the flower. And I'm going to stamp this right here in the center, kind of like that. And I'm going to do the same thing. Peel it up. And then we are going to take the hummingbird next. And I'm going to put this right here. Now part of my wings are going to be off on the hummingbird, but it's okay. And I'm going to push this down. This is the way you could fit it onto a card, on a regular A2 card. So that's kind of why. And this was the only size paper. I could have went 5 1/4, and it probably would have fit, or 5 1/4 instead of 5, but I didn't. And then peel this up. Okay. So now I would recommend, if it's your first time doing it, to clean these off. I have the special cleaner, so it will be able to clean them right away. But if you do not, then clean these off as soon as you're possible, and it probably will not stain them right away. But I'm okay with it. That's all we used to have before we had Memento black ink. And it used to just dye the stamps. So anyway, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to bring in these other two brushes. I'm going to start with the big one first. And I like to get it wet to get some water down on there. And I'm going to pick up the Blushing Bride in the middle. I'm going to come over to my butterfly, and I'm just kind of rubbing it around. There's no right or wrong. None of these will be the same. I'm going to rub some right here. And this is where you're just adding color to your butterfly. You don't want it too wet because you don't want it to run out. I'm going to try to zoom in a little so you guys can see more of what I'm doing. Okay. You might not see the colors I'm dipping it in. I'll tell you as I'm doing it so that you know. So I'm still dipping it into the... And if you let it dry a little bit in between, it kind of makes it vibrant a little bit more. So now just over here on my towel, I'm cleaning it off. That's all I'm doing when I go over and making sure that my color is not running into each other. So now I'm going to take some of the Sea Spide, and I need a little water, so I'm going to squirt a little water in there. So I'm going to take some of this Seaside, and I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to put some of this around here. Around here. I'm going right over top of the yellow. It doesn't matter. It's okay. or the pink. I mean, I'm not going straight over it, but I'm hitting it a little bit on the sides, and that's okay. Okay, and then we'll just get a little bit here. All right. Now you could stop there if you want, but me, I'm going to grab a little bit of purple. I don't have to, I'm not going to clean my brush off all the way. Sometimes I do, sometimes I didn't. It all depended. I like to mix. This is where I'm mixing colors to form colors or to form whatever I want. So and sometimes I'm okay, but I will mix it. I always clean it off when I'm going into the pink, because when you go into the pink, you don't want the color to turn brown. So I don't, you know. So there I added some purple, and now I'm going to go back in and grab a little more of this blue. So I think some more blue up here would be pretty around the edges. Okay, so that's the butterfly. That's all I did for the butterfly. So now I'm going to come over here to the hummingbird. Now I am going to clean my brush out really good again. Get it so that it looks like there's nothing on your brush. Okay, I got that out. So I'm going to pick up some of the pink, and I'm going to go right along here. Right along here, along the belly. Because I want the belly to look nice and bright. And I'm letting that dry a little bit. I'll probably go back over and touch that. Oops, did you see that? I'm sorry, I forgot I zoomed in. I sometimes turn it for me. So I just went right along the belly. So now I'm going to clean that off. Get that good and clean the best I can here, because I'm running out of water in that one. And then I'm going to grab some purple. And I'm just adding it here. Adding some there. It doesn't really, I'm just adding a little bit of purple. It's watercolor, so it's supposed to look watery. Then I'm going to add, I'm going to have to get another one here so I could squirt a little water in these. There we go. So now I'm going to get some of this, what is it called? The Pool Party. And I'm kind of going over his head a little, blending that water in, blending the colors together. I'm kind of just going around. It looks really cool when you just keep blending them. And you're doing it with your water brush. You need a little water on it in order for it to work, but again, like I said, you don't want too much. And just practice. I tell you, I don't do it a lot, and one of my goals is to learn how to watercolor better. I like it. I like the look of it. I think it's so pretty, but I don't always get the results that I want. So I was very happy when that one came. I'm going to pick up some of the original color and add that back in, because sometimes that helps. If you got a little too much of one color in one spot, kind of go over it a little. Sometimes you got to leave it, let it dry, come back and fiddle with it. It's one thing I've noticed with watercolor, that's what you want to do, is leave it alone and then come back. So I'm going to kind of leave that one there. And now I'm going to come in and I'm going to do this flower. So what I did was I picked up a very little bit of the purple, and I came in and I just kind of went here and there around. I think I'm going to have to bring in my other marker because that one is running out of water and I need to add, ooh. Now see how I added quite a bit of water there, and I'm like, oops. Go ahead, take your napkin and just take the corner of a paper towel and just soak it up a little bit. And if you do it before it runs, then you don't have any issue. And then you're just going to kind of blend this out. Grab some more if you have to. Kind of got a little too much water again. Go down here to this one. A little bit. The water itself will make it spread. Okay, so we're going to clean that off, and I think I need to add, this has kind of gotten a little weak. So I'm going to add a little bit of, and I'm going to grab these two together a little bit. And now I'm going to go back in, and you see how that just bursted out when I put it in there? That's so cool. I like how that does that in the colors. So here we go. And I'm going to soak up just a tad bit of that. I'm going to do this. Okay. And then I'm going to do the rest of these. And then, oops, there's a leaf right here. I totally forgot about it. I better add a little purple so it looks like the rest of them. Add a little blue. Add a little purple. And whatever color you put on, it may show more, it may not. So you just kind of keep playing with it a little bit. I'm going to clean that off. I'm going to clean it up good. Okay, and now I'm going to go back in with my, see how I let that sit and dry a little bit? And now when I'm coming back in with that pink, or the Blushing Bride, which is like a pink to me, it is popping right off the page because we let it sit and dry a little bit. Same thing with that purple, and I'm going to do a little bit more here so this pops up a little bit more. See that? I really like that. I'm going to grab some more of this and kind of blend this out a little bit. I like it a little bit more blended. Kind of just stuck some here and there. There we go. Clean that up. And I started bleeding right there on the outside of this a little bit. It's okay, it's watercolor. But on my first one I didn't, and it could be that I put too much water on. It all depends. I'm going to come back in here, and you just keep playing until you say, okay, that's enough. Too much can affect it too. Okay, so I like this right here. So now, again, we're going to heat this up. I'm going to zoom you guys back out so you could see what I'm going to do. I'm going to heat this. Okay, so there it is. This is the second one I did. No two are going to be alike, and this is the first one I did. I really like them both. So I am going to clean up my mess here, and I'm going to come back, and I'm going to put this together as a card with you. So I'll be back in a little bit. Hi everybody, I'm back, and I'm going to finish showing you how I put my card together. Isn't this lovely? Okay, so we're going to set this card right here. So all I did was I took a piece of Blushing Bride that is 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored it at 4 1/4. Then I took a piece of Pool Party that is 5.5 by 4 4, and not 5.5. It's 5 1/4 by 4. And I'm just going to add these two pieces right together. But before I do that, I'm going to stamp my greeting. And so I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to stamp this, and I've stamped Hello Friend. So I'm going to stamp this right down here on the bottom. Oh, it didn't come out that great. You know what? I'm not going to try to stamp over that, because if I do, I am definitely going to be the one that will make a mistake. So I'm going to take a Sharpie pen that I have here, and I'm just going to go over it, but I got to get it a little closer to me. I must not have, I'm doing this on watercolored, remember. And when you do it on the watercolor, sometimes you have to press and let it sit a little bit longer. So there was just a couple letters, so that worked out good. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach these together. I'm putting this on top of the Pool Party. Now remember, the original piece, if I never told you, the original watercolor paper was 5 by 3 3/4. And then I just went down 1/4 of an inch each time, so you guys know. And then I'm putting this onto the Pool Party, just like this, okay? And then I went ahead and I grabbed some gems. And I'm just going to get some gems out here. And let's see. Get this out. I'm going to grab some of these little ones. And I kind of put one up here. And then I put one down here. And do I have any more tiny ones? Because I use a lot of tiny. Oh, those are colored. Well, I know I have a bunch in here. I just have to... There we go. Oh, these are my colored ones, probably. Yep. I color them. You can color these with your blends if you didn't know that. Here's a pack. And I'm just going to sneak one out from underneath that cover. Maybe. There we go. And I'm going to put this one right there. And then what I did, let's get these out of the way. I went ahead and I took Wink Stella. And you know, that just makes the card all that much better. And it's better than glitter because glitter doesn't make a mess. Although sometimes I still like my glitter. So I'm going to put this on here like this. I'm going to add glitter on here like this. Okay, and then I'm going to add a lot of glitter on this little guy. I'm going to add glitter all over. And I will pick this up so you can see it. So can you see that sparkle? I don't know if it's picking it up. I guess maybe a little bit. But I don't know, we'll pick up on this one about the same. But that's how I did this watercolor. It was a simple one, easy one to start with, and I suggest that you guys try this. Give it a try. Let me know what you think. Do you like to do watercoloring? If you could hit the like, subscribe button, and all that good stuff, I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. Bye-bye.